Welcome to ET Live Fashionistas. We are wrapping up our coverage on New York Fashion Week. I cannot believe that we cruised through NYFW already.
5 solid days.
5 solid days. I'm feeling very, I feel like a fashion expert at this point. And like I know everything. I mean, obviously we have been here diving into all of the shows. And today we're going to talk about the finale of them, the trends, the social media moments, everything and more from New York.
Yes. Plus, if you guys want to go back and binge watch all of our episodes from this week and really get informed about what happened during New York Fashion Week, you can go to etlive.com for all of our episodes. You can check them out there. But let's get started with what we're going to talk about today. The first show, Proenza Schouler.
Love
Spring 2020 show.
2020
Let's take a look at some of our favorite looks from the show. I love Proenza. The clothes are always really powerful, wearable, but like structured, cool pieces. There's always a lot of edge to it. The accessories are always amazing. So we're just going to show you guys a couple things that I love and I would love to wear right now.
Wow, like high-waisted pants
high-waisted pants.
Who would have thought? As I'm wearing them today.
Right? I love the draping on these pants. I love the belted accent. We were seeing so much inspiration from the 80s throughout this whole week. And the way Proenza did 80s is a very power suit, cool, edgy version.
Also modern. I know that sounds so bizarre because it's
so
like
true.
Inspired by the 80s, but also yet that mix of modern 2019.
That's the thing. It's like you want to bring something back, but you want it to feel like today.
100%.
You don't want it to feel like, regurgitated old trend. So I love that sharp shoulder on that look. Let's take a look at the next one.
A white suit. We love
white suit. We've seen so much white. And you know what? I've seen a lot of designers styling their blazers this way, tucked into trousers or pants.
Is this the same look that we just saw, but just in white? Because it's the same.
It's a little different.
It's the same, this style.
It's a very similar style with this like big peak lapel and a contrasting color. But this one is more of a wrap top, and the other one looks like an actual blazer that's tucked into the pants.
I love this. Again, like the edginess of the suit right there. It's something so different.
I love it. I love it. I'd wear this right now. I don't even care that it's all white.
All day, every day.
And we saw Kaia Gerber also walking in the show, and here's the look that she was rocking. Wow. So I love this. We're seeing so much black tights, black pantyhose coming back. Still very 80s inspired. I love the jewelry with this look. It just feels really powerful, really cool. A lot of the pieces in this collection were black and white. I loved it.
I will say, you're going to be so proud of me. At home, I have a whole bin of like tights and pantyhose and all of that. I have the one that you got for me that are embellished. Out. Wow, I'm so trendy. I'm ready for. I'm ready to be like, the trendsetter here in Los Angeles.
Well, another show that we saw that we were obsessed with was Michael Kors. Michael Kors actually showed yesterday in the morning. It was beautiful. It was at the Brooklyn Navy Yard. A lot of designers have been so creative with where they're showing their collections, taking people on a real journey with the art that they're presenting.
But at the same time, we still get that Michael Kors simple, classic clothes cut from just amazing fabric. So like, even though he takes everyone out of their element at New York Fashion Week, and you're literally in the Navy Yard, you still it's still very Michael Kors at its core.
And he is such a classic American designer that we saw so many elements of Americana in the collection, which I loved so much. So you guys, we got to get into it. There's so many looks I wanted to show you. So let's see. Hey, Kaia Gerber again.
She's just making it around.
She was the queen of New York Fashion Week. We saw Kaia on a ton of runways and also the Hadids. But I love seeing the same model multiple times and seeing how they're such chameleons.
And in different designers, different looks, 100%. And I love her hair right here, I will say that. But again, we have seen this look time and time again throughout New York Fashion Week. The blazer with the belted blazer. I love it. I love the mix of prints here. You and I both have so many blazers at home.
We're just going to start throwing belts on top.
Now we just need belts on top. Yep.
We're going to start doing it. Speaking of the Hadids, let's take a look at what Bella Hadid was rocking on the runway. Another belted look.
This is stunning.
Like, pluck this off the runway and just put it on, Cassie, because this is totally your jam right here.
Thank you. I appreciate that you know that and you recognize that.
Oh, yes.
I
love this.
Is this a romper?
No, I think it's a dress.
It's a dress? Okay, this is
It goes by so fast. It could be shorts with a long blazer.
Dress of my dreams.
But I love this. I love this, the power suit that we're seeing. We were also seeing the star print. He was incorporating red, white, and blue and stars on a lot of pieces. Talk about the 80s. Look at this silhouette. This is something we would have laughed at years ago, but now it feels so fresh and current. I love this neckline. I even love the detail on the hips. It's so good. I love this.
So good. Wow, you go to your 4th of July barbecue,
right?
That.
And then he made a gown version of this, which Gigi Hadid closed the show wearing in navy blue.
Oh my God.
Loved this.
I cannot.
It's so beautiful.
Wow, I sound like such a millennial right now, being like, Dad, I cannot, but it's so
it's
good.
So beautiful.
These looks are amazing and very bold with the hair.
Yeah, the hair was completely in everyone's face. I was saying that today too. I'm like, don't cover her beautiful face.
Is this what I gotta do?
It's a vibe. So with a brand like Michael Kors, we're not just seeing 30 looks on the runway. We're seeing more like 60 looks on the runway.
Okay.
So it's so hard for us to break down just a few. So we were seeing repetitive things and different trends. So I wanted to show you guys a few. We were seeing a ton of suiting. So here are some examples of the different suiting we were seeing. We also saw men on the runway. So we were seeing men's suits, women's suits, a lot of checks and plaids, belts over the suits, and again, this blazer tucked into trousers.
We love
just
a good
an interesting styling.
100%. We also saw a lot of polka dots too. Polka dots are back.
It's so feminine and
not that they ever went anywhere, but you know, I feel like we're obviously, when you see them a lot like this, then you know that, okay, keep an eye out on more polka dots.
I think it's timeless, and I love the way that he did it in this 80s inspired silhouette. We were also seeing a ton of gingham, and they were so cute and playful, the way he had like a little bralette with a jacket and a skirt, and we even saw gingham for men. Head to toe gingham.
Love.
So fresh and pretty.
I could see a lot of different celebrities wearing those little suits. One person that pops into my mind is Lucy Hale, who I know is a fan of the brand.
She was there.
She was actually there alongside Emily Ratajkowski, who again is making her rounds during New York Fashion Week. Who else did we have there?
Sarah Sampaio, Sutton Foster, Nicole Kidman. There's Sutton Foster there, and Kate Hudson.
I see.
So he brings big stars. I mean, the bigger the designer, the bigger the celebs that are going to go and support him.
But here's the thing is like, you know, seeing a big name like Kate Hudson and Nicole Kidman there, it's not a surprise to me because there's a lot of really big celebrities who love Michael and love his designs. And you know what? Here's the thing. E.T. was at Michael Kors' show, and the celebs had nothing but nice things to say about the designer. And Michael even shared the stars are his muse.
I always come out to support my man. And I've heard so many amazing stories about who he is and that he like leaves notes backstage for the models to encourage them. And so I just hear he's an amazing person.
He has dressed me countless times. He's such a fan of the theater, and I'm such a fan of his, and I'm just honored to be here.
When I think about, you know, a lot of the celebrities we dress, well, they're friends. And they are part of this sort of inspiration in my mind every season when I'm designing a collection. They're part of the cast of characters. So not everyone certainly who I think about is famous, but I always think that, you know, celebrities, it's really tricky. They've got to look good really at all times. The camera's always on.
Oh, he is so fabulous.
He is. And from one king of New York Fashion Week to the next, Marc Jacobs showed yesterday, and his show is traditionally the close of New York Fashion Week. He always has that spot at the end, and he always does something unexpected, and this season he kind of confused people. He started the show with a finale. So typically we'll see look after look after look, and then all the models come out. But he turned the format on its head. He had all the models come out in this giant space. It's the Armory in Manhattan, and he shows here every season. And instead of building it out with a set, he left it completely bare. And he had all the models come out at the same time and then disappear backstage and then all come out one by one. Or actually multiple at a time. He had a whole cadence that was breaking the normal rhythm.
An army of models
show.
right here. But I do love that he flipped the switch.
I love it.
When you're at the end of New York Fashion Week, people, I'm not gonna lie, are probably exhausted, show after show after show, and they want to see something different. And he's giving people what they want to see, something different. I mean, the beginning of the show is just hands down so amazing, but even more amazing, you guys, the looks one by one. Let's begin with this gold mirrored gown that is absolutely to die for.
I love this. And like, Marc Jacobs is such an eclectic designer, so everything that we're seeing from him was all over the place, but in a way, all tied together.
Yeah.
So this was probably one of the tamer looks that we saw, and I could see this on a red carpet in a second. It was mirrored, it flowed beautifully on her.
Love it.
And I love how the models were walking, too.
Just like
they all had a different vibe.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of the star of Fashion Week, let's see.
Guys, she's here again, you guys.
Total chameleon. Like, you almost wouldn't even recognize her.
In this floral gown, yeah.
It's an over-the-top creation, but it's really whimsical, really fun. Another whimsical, fun look we saw was this trench coat. And we saw a ton of trench coats this season.
A lot of stars,
Spring,
too.
A lot of trench coats. I love this. It has cute little stars all over it, paired with a giant hat. I'm totally feeling this. And the color pairing feels very Marc.
And we also saw a lot of watercolor in all of these shows, which is our next look right here. This is absolutely stunning. Kind of like that tie-dye, but yet like a little bit subtle, more subtle. It's stunning.
I love this.
And you mentioned the way that the models are walking, like they're making it their own.
They all have a different
vibe.
I mean, it's almost hard to watch this without hearing the music, because the music is such a huge part of the way that the models move on the runway. Yeah. Okay, speaking of moving on the runway, Gigi Hadid, shoeless on the runway.
Oh, shoeless.
Barefoot.
Wow.
Unless she's wearing the most invisible shoe I've ever seen.
No, it looks pretty.
She's pretty barefoot.
But she's making it look like she has
shoes
on.
That's why she's a supermodel.
And she can be a good actress.
And I love this look. It's so adorable and so wearable. It's the opposite end of the Marc Jacobs spectrum. This is the wearable end.
It's very like flight attendant 1960s vibe.
Yes.
But top of like light blue color. We got to get those on the airlines now.
Right? So adorable. And then last but not least, I think this was the finale look, if I remember correctly, because all the models were walking at the same time. But this sheer floral dress with these giant sleeves, it's so whimsical. It's so playful. It's so Marc Jacobs. If I didn't know what designer this was, it would easily... it would be an easy guess to say Marc.
Not gonna lie, some kind of like wild looks here though. I mean, this is
really
a little bit, not your average look. Definitely a statement piece, but there were quite a few. I mean, look at that green one.
Yep.
The second
there were
one.
about 60 looks that walked the runway, so we had to just show you guys some of the wildest
ones. This is very Lady Gaga. I could see a Cardi B doing it.
I could see someone wearing this on stage.
100%.
Absolutely. Lot of wild stuff. And backstage was also awesome.
Pretty wild.
And wild. The makeup looks were so beautiful. It's hard. Like, it goes by so fast. It's almost hard to absorb all of what you're seeing, but all of the artistry that goes into just one runway look.
Euphoria vibes right there. Those long eyelashes. It's absolutely stunning. We keep talking over and over again about the queens of fashion. We've talked about Kaya and the Hadid sisters, but also Zendaya. She had her big moment the other day with her show with Tommy, and also she was there at Marc Jacobs supporting the show, and she looked so flawless.
She does. We also had Dua Lipa attending the show and debuting her relationship with Anwar Hadid, the Hadid's brother.
These two cannot get enough of each other, but it's like also killing two birds in one stone. He's supporting his sisters, but also a date night out.
And then we also had Offset.
And Quavo.
Offset's been checking out all the runways. We saw him at Jeremy Scott. He's walked with Jeremy Scott's show before, so no stranger to New York Fashion Week there.
Maybe next year we could see him doing something with Marc.
I would love to see that. I would love to see Marc collaborate with some people on the runway besides models. That would be
Speak it into existence. We have loved watching Marc Jacobs through the years. I mean, he has become one of fashion's absolute favorite fixtures. Take a look.
I never know, you just make stuff and then like the rest of the world decides what's hot and what isn't. It's like one of those like things where everybody thinks, oh, like designers just like, they know what they're doing and they do this thing, and it has nothing to do with that.
Where did this come from? Who is the designer? I need all the details.
It's Marc Jacobs.
Really?
I don't know, so it came from his brain, I guess.
I'm wearing Marc Jacobs, and it was the first dress I tried on, and that was it.
Who is this by? It's beautiful.
It's Marc Jacobs.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right. What's your favorite part of the outfit, maybe?
Favorite part of the outfit? I mean, it's incredible. I feel like a walking piece of art.
I am obsessed with this. I saw this Marc Jacobs turban on the runway when it walked down, and I was like, I will wear that turban. And so it came true.
By the way, also my favorite dress of the night. This is beautiful. Who are you wearing?
I'm wearing Marc Jacobs. It's an archive piece, and it's a couture piece.
Gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
And I'm like, my look's amazing now, and I get to wear Marc Jacobs, and you don't.
So what's next for you, Trailblazer? You've mastered fashion. You've mastered brands.
No, I haven't mastered anything. you know, everything's a journey, right? And one day at a time, just keep easing down the road.
And so Marc closed New York Fashion Week with that insane show. And we have to go back and revisit what we saw this week, because now that the shows are over, we can really dig in and see what are the trends.
We've learned a lot.
We have learned a lot.
We've learned a lot, and now we know to step up our fashion game a little bit.
And you know what's interesting is usually we'll see very, very specific trends, but I feel like a lot of designers went back to their roots and went back to classics, so we saw a lot of classics revisited. So let's take a look at the first trend we saw, which was the utilitarian trend. Tons of khaki,
green,
cargo pants, cargo pockets on everything. Yeah, all shades of olive and green.
And burnt orange too was a thing. That's why I wore burnt orange today, people.
So from the left to the right, we had Self-Portrait, Jonathan Simkai, Coach, and Tory Burch, all showing very similar looks. And these weren't the only shows where we saw these trends happening, so I think this is definitely here to stay. Cargo pants had a total revitalization for this past spring, so it looks like if you invested in that, good for you.
Good for you.
It's happening until next year.
And if you got rid of them like I did, well, you're SOL. Next trend, you guys, we saw a lot of during New York Fashion Week was sheer lace. A lot of see-through, a lot of eyelet. Yeah, a lot of see-through everything here. The first look on the left right there is Kate Spade, New York. It's a white floral lace gown. Then you have Zimmerman in the middle. Again, eyelet, like a lot of it. That was a little mini dress there. And then on the right, Oscar de la Renta, one of my favorite looks, this white sheer strapless gown with floral detail. Oh, it's everything.
It literally goes from like the street to the red carpet here. It's like you can wear this trend on the street. You could like layer with a little slip underneath it, or even a swimsuit on vacation.
I was going to say at a resort, this is like a bathing suit look, but also going out to dinner.
And then I really hope someone rocks something sheer like this on the carpet. I just think it looks so ethereal, and when it's a very tasteful but sexy way to wear a gown.
I love it.
I love this.
This one's one of my favorites.
I love it. Oscar de la Renta's show is so
everything.
Gorgeous. I loved it so much. Okay, so the last trend that we saw over and over again was 80s inspired silhouettes. So this is anything from like a huge bold sleeve, a cut of a blazer,
big ruffle,
huge ruffles. I mean, the 80s was something that we stayed away from for so long, but fashion is cyclical, and now we're excited about it, and I'm feeling all of this. So from the left, Jeremy Scott with this crazy blazer. We have Coco Rocha at Christian Siriano in the center, and then again Oscar de la Renta all the way at the end.
Love this.
So many cool things, bubble hemlines, big sleeves, just
ruffles, like boldness. I bet my mom is like literally hitting herself in the head right now because she got rid of all of her 80s stuff. Never get rid of anything.
Yeah, there was so much joy on the runway during Fashion Week. You know, so many shows are usually, or they used to be, so serious. And now we're seeing so much color. We're seeing models smiling. We're seeing live music.
Walking barefoot.
I love it.
But like more importantly, a lot of inclusivity and diversity, which is so important. And yeah, I feel like New York Fashion Week 2019 is like hands down one of the best that we've seen.
I agree. It felt really
forever,
good.
To be honest.
It was a good time. And speaking of good times, we saw a lot of good moments on social media. So we were trying to live our lives like we were at New York Fashion Week, which isn't hard. You literally just follow hashtag NYFW and you can stumble upon all sorts of stuff. We discovered this tiny little 5-year-old influencer, Taylin Biggs, who's sitting front row. Look at this nugget. Just living her best life. Living her best life.
Next to Kalani, mind you. Like, she's an A-lister in the front row.
She's a bona fide A-lister now, sitting in the front row. This clip went viral of this girl just 5 years old.
Did you have a phone at 5 years old? But I guess I guess you probably we weren't sitting front row at 5 years old either. Look at her. Wow, we're literally wow. You know you've covered 5 days of New York Fashion Week when you're saying the same things, Jinx.
She's I don't know who taught this girl to pose, but man, does she own it. Look at her.
Yes,
owns it.
She was at BeautyCon, I think.
You know what? I think you're right.
I think she was. That was her.
Adorable.
Wow, I missed my moment.
All right, Taylin Biggs. We're watching you now.
Rub shoulders with her.
We're watching you. Also, we saw the Hadid sisters walking in so many shows. So, of course, they had moments where they were exhausted.
They kept it real.
They posted this where Gigi and Bella were asleep, snuggling it up backstage.
Listen,
I don't blame them. I don't
walking
blame
those runways, doing all that, having to go show after show. I could imagine. I'm no model, but I could imagine it is absolutely exhausting.
They're not done because New York Fashion Week kicks off Fashion Month. Then we go into London, Paris, and Milan. So these ladies are not finished. They're going to be traveling the world.
This is only the beginning
walking a lot of shows
for them.
So like we had said, a lot of designers were showing live music on the runways. I thought it was the most joyful and fun and interactive thing that you can do to get people excited about the collection. And there was one show in particular, Higher Moss, and they had a live choir on the runway. And they were singing everything from, you know, standards to literally Cardi B. Check this out.
Can you guys hear that? Cardi B money in the background. I love that. Again, like, making Fashion Week just fun and also modern.
Yes.
I love it.
It was the best. It was super fun. I can't wait to see what happens in Paris.
In London, in Milan,
London.
like where are
Victoria Beckham's showing very soon in London on the 14th. So we got our eyes out.
We've got our work cut out for us too, Marissa. All right, you guys, that is a wrap on ET Style Feed. Loving every moment of New York Fashion Week. It flew by.
It did, but you know, guys, it's not over. It's the beginning of Fashion Month, so there's so much more to check out. Fashion never sleeps. And ET Style Feed is on every single week. New episodes streaming every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern.
And always on repeat on etlive.com, which is streaming 24/7, and on ET Style Feed's YouTube channel. You guys cannot escape Marissa and I.
You
so
can't.
Make sure you check it out.
Check us out. We'll be here next week for you.